It's pretty crazy to think that we're already midway through the third month of 2022. And is it just me, or does it kind of feel like the older you get, the faster time seems to go by? I don't know. But anyways, from a financial and investment standpoint, I think it's pretty safe to say that the first quarter of this new year has been quite challenging for most retail investors and just everyday people trying to better their personal finances. Right? So chances are, if you have continued to maintain a long-term mindset and viewpoint towards your investments, which for the record you should be doing, well, chances are though your stock market portfolio is probably really feeling the effects and repercussions of the general market being down. Unfortunately, cash holdings are probably being significantly eroded away in terms of relative purchasing power as a result of high levels of inflation. And when it comes to, say, real estate investing, for most first-time homebuyers, it's kind of a situation where it feels like getting your first foot in the door is kind of an impossible feat right now, considering the current state of the market and overall high price points across Canada and North America as a whole. All of this to say, I get it. Just because I'm here making YouTube videos about finance doesn't change any of those realities for my own personal situation, right? I'm still feeling the effects of inflation on my cash holdings. And then when it comes to the stock market being down, well, this is of course being reflected over into the unrealized gains of my portfolio for the time being. But in reality, let's remember that none of these short-term market fluctuations really matter if, again, you're maintaining that longer-term investment horizon and outlook when it comes to, well, yeah, the growth of your portfolio over time. And then also coupled with not focusing on concrete things that you can actually do right now in order to better your own personal financial situation over the course of 2022. So yeah, let's talk about that. What are some things that you should be focusing on over the course of this next year, and really any time for that matter? Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Griffin here, and despite the fact that, yeah, I now get to make YouTube videos and focus on my real estate investing for a living, well, let's not be quick to forget that I had a full-time job working for the government not a year and a half ago. So I used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning in order to brave the cold Canadian winters, get to work a full-time shift over the course of a week, and then get home early so I could work on my businesses full-time, basically having two full-time jobs over the course of at least a 2.5 year period. Needless to say, this was one of the hardest periods of my life, where not only was I working two full-time jobs, but my day job was something that just really didn't resonate with me, as I'm sure many of you watching can relate to, where you're maybe in a position that isn't necessarily something that you're fully passionate about and are excited to wake up and do every single morning. So after 2 years of grueling hard work, seriously, and multiple trial and error with other businesses, well, I finally was able to be in a position where I quit that full-time job. And this was crazy for me at the time, because working for the government in Canada, if you're someone who isn't from the National Capital Region, you might not know this, but this is one of the most bulletproof jobs you can have. You get in at 20 years old right out of university and you stay there for 30 years, full-time pension, good benefits. So yeah, it was definitely a monumental decision that I had to make, but ultimately now I'm extremely happy with the position that I'm in. And over the course of time that I was working there and working those two full-time jobs, I put in place certain foundational elements in order to help me reach financial independence at a quicker pace. But hey, I did have a couple of good things going for me at the time: a pretty decent salary for someone in their early 20s, a lot of time on my hands, and then also a drive like no other that seriously kind of redefined who I was as a person at that point. Seriously, that's pretty much all I would think of and talk about on a daily basis, to the point where I'm sure it was even annoying to certain people around me, but realistically it was work every single day, 7 days a week. And it's kind of even incredible what you can actually accomplish as an individual when you really set your mind to something. So I had tried a ton of different businesses over the past 5-6 years, and ultimately the one that stuck with me most and that I resonated with most was making YouTube videos speaking about investing, personal finance, and other topics around money, really, because that's really what interests me. And since a young age, I've always been into videography and making videos. And of course, once I saw some traction on my channel, this really became a viable option to try to make this my full-time gig. Okay, but why am I mentioning all of this and giving so much background context about my own situation? After all, this video is about how you can better your own personal finances in 2022. Well, I gave so much context because I observed something in myself and also other people around me and people that I've studied, one main commonality for achieving financial independence. I know at first glance this might sound somewhat generic, but just hear me out, okay? If you want to change your financial life, it needs to become an obsession. And not in a bad way, right? Obsession usually has a negative connotation to it, but if you want to seriously save more, invest more, have a business that actually works for you, and one day achieve financial independence, it needs to become an obsession and a dominating force in your life that takes up a lot more mental space than just, hey, I want to achieve financial independence, I would like to save more, but you know what, it's not really something that's a huge priority for me. Just like how, say, a pro athlete will tell you that they lived and breathed the sport in order to get to the level where they're performing, well, you need to live and breathe your own ventures and your own financial path in order to actually make it a reality. Oh, and no, I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jordan here. It was just to get the point across, being that I truly believe anyone can better their financial situation. It really just takes a lot of mental clarity, focus, and drive towards achieving that goal in the first place. Because once this does become an obsession and something that's truly important to who you are in your core, well, all of a sudden, your brain starts looking for opportunities that otherwise you might not even see are right under your nose. I've seen this countless times in my own business as well as other aspects of my life, right? Same concept as when you buy a brand new car, all of a sudden you see that car everywhere on the street. It's been there the whole time, it's just that your brain wasn't seeking those out. Well, the same thing somewhat applies to money, where I have people ask me all the time, how am I going to save more? How am I going to invest more this year? Well, it comes down to making it a huge priority, and then actually outlining concrete steps that you can take in the now in order to better your financial situation and look for more solutions. And then your brain is suddenly, or you could even say magically, going to start helping you out. So that's something that I observed in myself, right? But like I said earlier, it's also something I've seen in other people around me. So one person in my life that I can confidently say has turned bettering their financial situation into a healthy obsession and has taken action as a result of this is my girlfriend, Sophie. At this point, we've been together for 6 years. We moved out together at a pretty young age. I'm pretty sure she was like 19 at the time, and it was definitely really difficult, right? Ultimately, at the beginning, without going into full detail, didn't really know what to do, hopped around different programs in college, ended up dropping out, had 3 jobs at once at one time, which is, all of this was just really difficult. And the point being, we've been together through multiple different ups and downs in both of our lives. And so fast forward now to the good part, skipping through all of the crazy grueling hard work that still to this day is happening day in and day out. Well, we had a conversation about, what do you really like to do? What do you like to talk about? And ultimately, what is a passion of yours? And that turned out to be fitness as well as basically self-development. I was like, just start posting content about that. And that's exactly what she did. Started posting content, and for the past 6 months has now grown her TikTok, for example, to over 60,000 followers. Now, this isn't something that I'm saying you need to do. You need to be a content creator. It just comes down to identifying something you want to do and actually taking action and trying it out, not being afraid to fail and trying multiple different things. Now, she also basically, I guess I could say, learned from my mistakes and has created a side business that also is able to be leveraged from her social media, being a full-on journaling and book business. Essentially, as someone who would journal every day, didn't really find a product that resonated with her in the market, so she created her own product. It took like 6 months to make, and now it has actually been funded on Kickstarter, and we have hundreds of books being shipped from overseas right now. So all of this to say, it is in your grasp if you make it a healthy obsession and something that's just really important to you. If you've been following my channel for a while, then you've definitely heard this before. Number one, your income is a direct reflection of the value you're providing to the market. Let that sink in for a second and think about how that applies to your own situation. How many people are you impacting on a daily basis? And what is it that you're doing from an actual business or income generating standpoint that is impacting the market? And is that something that you're able to scale? And are you able to make more of an impact? Make that something that you remind yourself on a weekly basis of, how am I impacting, and is this something that I'm going to be able to create more income with? All right, so we've covered the mindset aspect of things, and realistically, that is the most important element. It really is, I'm telling you. But otherwise, what can be done in the physical and in the now to better your financial situation over the course of this year? And we're going to start with something that's really basic, but that is truly important, and that is you need to have a firm grasp and understanding of what is coming into your bank account and out of your bank account on a monthly basis. So there's this video I saw a couple of years back posted by Grant Cardone, who you may or may not know and also may or may not like, but regardless, that's beside the point. I really like this video where he was saying that if you don't keep an eye on your bank account and look at it almost on a daily basis, money likes to sleep around. And if you don't, again, keep an eye on it, it's going to essentially leave your bank account without you even noticing. And seriously, I found this to be true, where in periods, especially in the summer, when I might be a bit looser with my money, well, it tends to kind of slip through the cracks and fall out of my bank account in my pocket at a much quicker rate than when I'm really minded on creating more income, focused on business, and seeking out opportunity. Now, I've said this before, but if you want to better your financial situation, truly there's not much that can be done other than getting another or a better job that pays more, and or hopefully starting a side hustle or some type of business that can create more value to the marketplace. So many people want a secret answer or a quick formula to create more income, but that's really what it comes down to, one of those two things. And then over time, as you're compounding your efforts towards either one of these or maybe both, you'll be in a situation where you have more income to work with, to invest with, and then that's going to have a monumental impact on the longer term growth of your portfolio and your net worth overall. I mean, think of it. How in the world could anyone expect to make more money doing the exact same thing they're doing right now? In fact, this is even something I'm currently battling with, where everything that I've been doing over the past couple of years has culminated to the point where I'm at right now and the income I'm generating. So the money I'm making, or anyone watching this video right now is making, is a direct reflection of the value that you've provided over the past month or over the past couple of years if you've compounded your efforts and made strategic moves to increase your passive income over time. And so if you expect to better your financial situation this year, you need to ask yourself, is my current mindset and are the activities and things I'm doing on a daily basis contributing to, bettering my financial situation, increasing my income, whatever it might be, right? This is the reason why a lot of high income earners, millionaires, will go and get $25,000 weekly coaching sessions in order to try and get to the next level, right? They're trying to expand their mindset and achieve or get information and knowledge about things that they might just not know, because again, what you don't know. And so how are you expected to level up if you're working with the exact same mindset and the exact same tool set? Okay, so what about financial freedom and independence though, right? Because this is something a lot of people aspire to one day achieve. And ultimately, it's going to come down to two concrete things that you can do in your life other than the whole mindset thing that we talked about earlier. Number one, you need to start focusing on creating a financial gap between your income and your expenses on a monthly basis in order to save and invest more. Period. I know, again, that sounds really simplistic, but how could you expect to save more if your expenses are flush with your income each month, even if you're lowering your expenses? There's only a certain point as to how much you can lower your expenses until you're basically at the bottom of the barrel with everything in your life, from food, clothing, and your shelter, right? So lowering your expenses is also something that's really important and that we spoke about in a previous video, but I really tend to recommend that people focus on increasing their income through another source, or again, bettering the current sources they have right now. Number two is that you need to start focusing on creating ways to get your money to work for you so that you can essentially clone yourself, all right? Because otherwise, think about it. If you're just working for your money and trading your time for money, there's only so much that can be done and achieved. Where if you're investing, let's say you're investing in rental properties, well, now you've kind of cloned your money, right? You've cloned yourself where you have multiple different use and multiple different investments all working around the clock, creating more money for you. So again, focusing on making your money work for you through strategic investments, whether or not that be long-term stock market investing, as well as real estate investing or any other type of alternative investment that is going to be able to give you some more steady, longer-term returns on a yearly basis. All right, so I'll leave you with this though. Above everything else we spoke about, or I guess we could say in complement to everything else that we spoke about, the two main and most important things that I've applied to my life that have allowed me to reach where I am right now are increasing your knowledge over time and just consistency, okay? Consistency with your actions towards achieving the goal. Because if you're staying consistent, like I said earlier, I tried multiple different businesses. They didn't all work out, but staying consistent towards reaching that goal, okay, well now I'm trying multiple different things and my brain is trying to figure out what is going to be the solution to get me to that end goal. And if you think this happened overnight, it didn't. I've been, again, making videos since end of 2017, and I worked a full-time job through a 3-year period, working 2 full-time jobs, one at night, working on my businesses. So it's going to take years to achieve, but it is doable if you set your mind to it and stay consistent. But seriously, if I've been able to do it, if Sophie's been able to do it, you're able to do it as well. It just takes consistency, and you need to start now, not in 6 months, today. In fact, you know what? Comment down below right now, what is one concrete step you're going to take in order to better your financial situation this year? Really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like. It really helps my videos reach a wider audience. And if you want to learn more about personal finance, as well as investing in the stock market, in real estate, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button to be notified of new and upcoming content. And last but not least, if you want some free money for maybe opening up a stock brokerage or other freebies like opening up an Addy account where you can invest in property across Canada, make sure to check out the links down below where you can get some free money for signing up and opening some of these accounts. So on that note, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.